On today's show, we will break down the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer from top to bottom.
And while we're on movies, have you seen Saw lately? Because I'm ready to cut off my ankle and give it to Luka.
We're ready to break down the Luka Doncic injury. We'll talk about what it means for the Mavericks, what we expect from the team going forward on this road trip, and all that on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good!
And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and coordinator for the Locked On Podcast Network. And joining me, as always, my co-host, contributor at Mavs.com, the Twitter Dr. Dude, the one more thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Not a Twitter doctor. Get off of me. I didn't finish my fourth year of med school, so I didn't get that
He
title.
didn't pay for Twitter Blue and get the Twitter Doctor, Twitter Blue MD. He didn't get the full degree.
I don't even know what Twitter Blue is. Do we need it? Do I need it?
No, you don't need it.
Okay, never mind. Luka Doncic is hurt. Main storyline. But we get to, I want to see what this Mavericks team looks like over these next 4 games. Some people would say that this stretch of games would define the season. But
who would have said that?
But in all honesty, though, I want to see everything that we've seen from Jalen Brunson for this season, Kristaps Porzingis these past few games. Now with Luka being out at least tonight, what will these guys look like without Luka for a handful of games, however long it is? Hopefully, it's not very long.
Oh, absolutely. We will break that all down today. This episode is brought to you by Calm. For a limited time, join LeBron James in using Calm and get 40% discount on a premium subscription. Go to calm.com/LockedOnNBA. Gotta love the Locked On NBA.
Do they have anybody else that sponsors Calm? Can we
Thanks
say
for making
them?
Locked On Mavs your first listen every single day. And remember, Locked On Mavs is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So go check it out wherever you watch YouTube videos. All right, let's get into today's topic. So, yes, after the Nuggets win, which we broke down yesterday, go listen to our breakdown of that game yesterday. The Mavericks get the win. Luka Doncic at the end of the game contested a shot he probably shouldn't have contested and ends up rolling up on his ankle. He held it. He walked off the court on his own power. You could tell he was hurt. Everybody just held their breath for basically 17, 18 hours after that game because we were just waiting to see some kind of prognosis, some kind of report, something. And it came at first via Shams. He said, tests on Maverick star Luka Doncic's left ankle and knee showed no damage. So, okay, everybody breathed a sigh of relief. And we're like, okay, we know some information now. They did tests on the ankle and the knee. There was an actual Twitter doctor, the NFL doc, pro football doc. It was a guy that was a team doctor in the NFL for 17 years. He has a YouTube channel and all that. He thought it was a high ankle sprain. And so there's all this speculation stuff. So we finally got, okay, there's no actual damage in Luka's ankle and knee and all that. So we got to breathe a sigh of relief. Then Tim McMahon gave the update that Luka Doncic's ankle is, quote, not too serious per source. He is likely to miss some time, but Mavs hope not an extended stretch. So we started with no damage. Then we went with he'll miss some time. And then Mark Stein brought it home with Luka Doncic will miss the game against the Suns this first game. So the game tonight, if you're watching this on Wednesday. And, in addition to the, left ankle sprain, he had a left knee sprain as well. They're doing tests on it and they're watching it day to day. And then Callie Kaplan added to this report, and I'll end on this, add to Tim's report that Luka will be traveling to Phoenix and he will be with the team for the entire 4-game road trip, even if he's not playing.
A lot to unpack there. Which report do you want me to tackle first? Or
it was just the progression of it. It was just like the start from the beginning, and then here's where we are now. This is what we know as of 9:38 Central Time on Tuesday, November 6th.
For sure. I mean, best player on the team, one of the best players in the world, goes down like that. We all are kind of sitting waiting to see how long, if he does miss games, and he is going to miss at least one game. I would assume that it's going to be multiple games here. There's no reason to push it. There's no reason to. They're 8-4. They have a little bit of a little cushion there. Maybe if you want to view it that way, it is the West.
I think they're actually 9-4.
9-4. There you go. Oh my gosh, how could I get the record?
They got even more of a cushion than you thought.
But no, I mean, I think you take this thing super cautious, and especially if it's high ankle sprain, all of that. I mean, Casey Smith and them, they'll do their thing. And I did like the Cali part of it, that he's going to travel with the team. I think that's really cool. I think it helps with team chemistry,
And
plays or
positive.
not, and all of that. I mean, they're in Phoenix for 2 games. They're in LA for a couple of games, and they come back home, for next weekend when they play Washington at home.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that progression of just the reports, the announcements were they started positive, then it got a little worse, and then it got a little better towards the end as you started to hear more things. So
And the knee part was a little surprising, a little bit, just because, I mean, from first watch of it, it's like, oh, okay, just the ankle part, but the knee part was interesting.
yeah, and it makes it more complicated. It adds something else. They're going to monitor both things, obviously, and then when we talk about whenever you have an actual Twitter doctor on, you have the kinetic chain and all that. I'm sure we'll have Dr. Brian Sutterer on pretty soon, and we'll talk to him about what all this means and what we can expect from Luka. But yeah, Luka will be out against this game. So we want to break down and talk about all the things that this team will be doing without Luka. What will this team look like? What should we expect from this team? So we'll get into that in the next couple of segments. Maxi Kleber is also going to be out as well against the Phoenix Suns. That continues to be a thing with the oblique strain. We miss Maxi. The Mavericks miss Maxi. Absolutely. Yep. Wish that he was back. On the Sun side, Frank Kaminsky is questionable for the game, which is notable. He had like a 30-point game off the bench the other day.
Yeah, he did.
And DeAndre Ayton, he's missed the last 5 games, and he was questionable the night before. Or he was questionable against the Wolves, which actually would have been Monday night. He was questionable against the Wolves, did not play in that game, but he was close to coming back. So there is a chance that you may know this by the time you're listening, but he may be playing in this game against the Mavericks.
I think I checked the injury report at 8:30 Central Time, and I didn't see him on the injury report at all on the NBA official one. But obviously he could be added to it at any point,
because they release it every hour now instead of like 3 times a day.
Every hour, which is pretty crazy to think about.
So let's get into what are we looking for. Let's just start with tonight. What are we looking for tonight without Luka? For this team, what are we expecting this team to look like? What do we expect the starting lineup to be? What do we expect from this team since Luka is not going to play? Let's just start in this first game against Phoenix.
Well, I think JB is the natural person. I mean, when you think about this team without Luka Doncic, we've heard all the stats. Some people want to throw out there the numbers, the on-off numbers for when Luka played, this year, when he's not playing, and they kind of forget the context of that and all of that. But the first name that there's 2 names that come to mind first for every single Mavs fan: Kristaps Porzingis, Jalen Brunson. It's like Jalen Brunson's on this incredible stretch to start the season. 6th man of the year, probably leading candidate, him or Tyler Hero maybe. Kristaps Porzingis, this incredible stretch, 3 games. Now you get however you want to view as far as Luka being out. Now they get kind of this open slate of saying, all right, it's the 2-man game with Tim sprinkled in. Tim's probably going to shoot about 12 threes a game over these next 4 games. And I'm not saying that that's like a bad thing, but Tim's going to be having the ultimate green light on that. And it's JB and KP. It's like how good can they be over this stretch? Can they sneak one out? How good can JB get? Like, what level can he get to? Is this just a 6-man type of thing? That 31-point game is every now and then. But what if JB really takes the next step right now and says hey, I'm really on the national level right now, and goes in and outplays Chris Paul, puts up 30-something points, and they win this game in Phoenix? That would get the Twitter sphere chatting.
That would boost his 6th man of the year candidacy for sure. Absolutely. We'll continue to talk about what we expect from the Mavericks in this game and then throughout this next road trip. Because it was supposed to be a very defining moment for the Mavericks, and now they will be without Luka Doncic for at least 1 game, and so we will see what we expect from this team coming up. We'll talk about that, but before we do you want to know what makes LeBron James King James? It was not winning in 2011, that's for sure, but it's sleep.
King.
That's
I didn't know he was a king.
Sleep is his superpower. Calm is the #1 sleep app for sleep and meditation. Calm has teamed up with LeBron to help you activate the power of sleep. LeBron and Calm know that your mind is unlike any other muscle in your body. Or it is like any other muscle in your body, but you don't have to be a world champion to learn how to train it. Calm lets you train your brain so you sleep better, reduce stress, and perform at your best, like we hope Brunson does in this game against the Suns. So go to calm.com/LockedOnNBA. You'll get a 40% discount off a Calm premium subscription. With Calm, you have access to nature scenes like rain and leaves and things like that help you sleep, the sleep stories, meditation. You'll be ready for any challenges that are thrown your way, especially if you're getting thrust into the starting lineup against the Phoenix Suns. Again, for a limited time, our listeners can join LeBron in using Calm and get a 40% discount on a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/LockedOnNBA, calm.com/LockedOnNBA. Unlock content to help you focus, ease stress, and sleep better. Calm.com/LockedOnNBA.
They have some
Also,
really, I was gonna say there's some really cool meditation stuff on there. I've done some of that stuff, and I just want to plug that personally. That really cool, like center yourself, kind of just some good stuff.
yeah,
Anyway.
not just for sleep, but you can use it for other stuff as well. Absolutely. Also, want to tell you about Built Bar. It's a protein bar. It tastes like a candy bar. They're absolutely delicious. I eat one all the time. I took one. I had one at the Nuggets game. I was sitting there and I was eating the coconut brownie chunk, our favorite flavor. We literally stopped the podcast.
Got mine in the mail yesterday
to go order them because they were available again. 150 calories, 15 grams of protein, 7 grams of sugar for a bar covered in 100% chocolate. It honestly looks and tastes like a candy bar. You would have no idea the difference unless you knew the macros and knew that it was actually pretty good for you and it was not terrible for you. It doesn't have like, 30 grams of sugar or something like that. 7 in a bar that's absolutely delicious that I would eat for a dessert, like on any given day.
Oh, 100%. I take it as a snack all the time in the car, especially when I can't make breakfast. Kids are running around and can't fix breakfast. I'm like, hey, sorry, kids, fend for yourselves. Let me get my Built Bar.
Promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off of your entire order, no matter how many boxes you put on there. LOCKED15. Promo code is LOCKED15. Built.com. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into. So the Mavericks will be without Luka, or at least one game, probably a couple games. Honestly, I'm going into this expecting him to miss the entire road trip. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but I think the Mavericks will obviously be very cautious about this. However, Luka will probably push back and want to get back as soon as he seems to be ready. But let's keep going on this train of what we expect to see from the Mavericks without, Luka. So we expect Jalen Brunson to step into the starting lineup. So it'd be Brunson, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian still starting, KP, and then Dwight probably. They'll probably keep that exact same thing. Or could Jason Kidd use this as a time to switch it up? Because the Suns don't go very big. Could the Mavericks get away with KP as the lone big against the Suns, especially if they don't have DeAndre Ayton?
And not start JB?
No, and not start Dwight Powell.
Yeah, I mean, they could do that because, they typically start Jay Crowder at the power forward spot. So run JB, Tim, Dorian, Reggie, and KP at the 5. But I still, it's kind of just what you said on yesterday's pod that, you're okay with Dwight Powell starting. It just gets to the end of the games. We've seen Dwight Powell's minutes go down over the past few games, and honorary starter spot that, Dwight gets. So I would assume that JB just simply moves into the Luka spot.
That's probably what's going to happen. But if Kidd really wanted to get interesting with it and be like, all right, I've been waiting to make this change, and now I can have the excuse that, Luka was out. That changes things for us. We had to move stuff around, and then all of a sudden he just moves Dwight without telling anybody, basically. And
but do you want KP guarding DeAndre Ayton the whole time?
Do I want him guarding DeAndre Ayton the whole time?
Because that's just ultimately what we've been talking about. Is like
DeAndre Ayton is not Jokic. He's not Embiid. No. He's not Towns even. Like DeAndre Ayton will post up a little bit here and there. He'll take jumpers. He'll finish obviously around the rim and do that. But I'm not sure that DeAndre Ayton is getting KP in foul trouble that much.
Yeah, so I looked at the last time they played Phoenix. That was February 1st of this year. So out of the last 3 times that they played, he's played in one of those games, and that was actually the last one. And it was DeAndre Ayton and Kristaps Porzingis played in that game. The starters for the game for the Mavericks in that game: Luka Doncic, Dorian Finney-Smith, Porzingis, Maxey, and Josh Richardson. Josh Richardson had 24 points in that game, by the way. But Kristaps Porzingis and Maxey, the front court in that game, going against DeAndre Ayton and actually Cam Johnson started. But DeAndre Ayton pulled down 17 boards in that game. Only had 10 points in the game, but I think I would roll the lone big. The only thing is just the foul trouble with KP, and that's the only thing with it. I think I'm pretty confident that it's just gonna Dwight Powell stay there, Jalen Brunson will step in. It's that next unit. How will that shape out now? And is it time for, will Frank Ntilikina's, I personally just want Frank Ntilikina's minutes to just go skyrocket. Let's just get Frank like 30 minutes a game over the next few nights.
It's a little bit of a personal agenda for us, but also we think it would be beneficial for the team, right? We just
for sure. Yeah. And then if it's not Frank, or even if it is Frank, is it time to give Trey Burke a shot? And is it time? And is Trey Burke ready for that shot at playing at a high level, or for a decent amount of minutes? Is he ready to take the shot at the end of the game if the game's on the line and Luka's not playing? They need somebody to take a shot, and Trey's like, hey, I got this. I'll take the shot right now. Is he ready for that? I don't know. If with Luka out, you don't know what the rotation is going to look like off the bench.
If Trey Burke does, then all of a sudden the Mavericks are just like sticking it to him, right? They'll just stick him in that second unit, and then then all of a sudden it'll be him that has to do all the stuff that Brunson did, which means they'll stick him with the ball at the end of shot clocks. They'll stick him with the ball when nobody else can dribble, basically in that second unit at times. I think this is really gonna be the time where, like, all right, Trey Burke, stick up for yourself right now. Like, show that you deserve a spot in this rotation.
Because Trey Burke steps in, he takes the shot, and then what happens afterwards? You put on the Band-Aid, and it provides the offense this. I can't go any further.
It's gonna boost the.
It's gonna boost the Mavs' offensive numbers. But honestly, is it Trey Burke time? Like, I don't know. Like, is he gonna step in? Is Bubble Burke gonna be summoned for this team? Whether it's off the bench, because they need another guy who can
that's
create.
What's going to happen, right? I mean, I don't think there's any, to my knowledge, there's not any rules in Phoenix where he can't play without getting the vaccine. And so I think that I think he'll probably play and step into Brunson's role. And I think they'll just roll that way, because what's the alternative, right? They can't.
Frank
could be the backup point guard. I don't know if you want to give Frank that much ball handling, responsibilities, because they give Brunson a lot. Like, they put a lot on Brunson and obviously a lot on Luka. And so if Brunson's stepping into the Luka role, then who has to step into the Brunson role? And then if he can't step into the Brunson role, that unit all of a sudden just looks way worse, right? It just becomes really, really bad for the Mavericks. So it'll probably be Trey Burke. A lot of people have been saying, what about Carlik Jones? What about bringing in Carlik Jones? They'd have to make an actual roster move. They would have to release somebody and then be able to sign Carlik Jones, because he's not a two-way guy. He's not one of the guys that they're able to just bring up and bring down. That's Omarui and
McLaughlin.
Ja'Cory McLaughlin. Sorry, just completely
I was like,
I could see his face in my head. I just completely blanked his name. Ja'Cory McLaughlin is the other guy. So he could maybe get brought up, but we haven't seen him go on the road trip yet or anything like that. So we'll see.
Who plays more minutes with Luka out, Josh Green or Trey Burke?
Oh, definitely Trey Burke, right? Because it's not a wing deficiency.
I know, but I could see Frank though playing that kind of backup, point guard spot, and then some of Frank's minutes going towards more Sterling Brown, more Josh Green a little bit, and go from there. Because I actually have a 5-man lineup I want to throw at you.
Some Mavs fans just passed out when you said more Sterling Brown.
Hey, let me give you a 5-man lineup. The fourth. When you look at 5-man lineups for the Mavericks, the fourth highest played minutes-wise has only been 24 minutes. Okay, so
they've tried a bunch of different ones.
They've tried that. That tells you something right there. That 5-man lineup is a plus 32 net rating, 134 offensive rating. That 5-man lineup is Kristaps Porzingis, Jalen Brunson, Tim Hardaway Jr., Frank Ntilikina, and Sterling Brown.
Ooh, it's the lineup that played last night.
All 5 of those guys can obviously play right now. Does not include Luka or Maxey. Will we get more of that? It's only been 24 minutes. I get it, but it's shown like in spurts that it's worked, and it's worked well. I just want to see if we get that combination of players. That's something. If we want to do the blog 3 things I'm looking for in tonight's game, then that's one of the 3. I want to see how many minutes. Shout out to Smoking Cuban too. And I want to see
the 3 things thing. The money ball, that's their whole
thing.
True.
That is 3. That is true. Shout out to Jordan Brody. He probably wrote that right now. Preview for the game. Shout out.
It was probably Luke Askew. He probably wrote that.
But no, that would be one of the things. I want to see that 5-man unit. I want to see it played more and see if it can work at the same level that it has been.
Yeah, and it works because Sterling can play the 4, and then you have 3 creators on the outside, or 2 creators in Tim, I guess, or you have Brunson and then a part-time creator in Frank, and then like a jump shooter in Tim, and you have KP the 5, which we've talked about over and over again. Coming up, let's get into success without Luka. Let's just say hypothetically we'll go down the path. What if Luka misses all 5 of these games? Now, what should we be expecting now for this stretch? What should we be expecting? Or what if Luka comes back? What should we be expecting then? We'll talk about that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about betonline.ag. It's the fastest and easiest way to put down some money on sports. I got a good old picture of Pat Mahomes. Take me home, Pat Mahomes, at the front of their website, their brand new website. You can go check out right now. All kinds of player props, odd boosters. Let's check out some player props right now. If you go to betonline.ag, you can use the promo code locked on. You'll get a 50% welcome bonus for first deposit. They already have some games up. Let's go with Celtics Hawks. Hawks 4-point favorite at home. That was an interesting one. Both those teams kind of floundering right now. Kings Timberwolves, the battle of the consistently disappointed in their franchise. Timberwolves 2-point favorite at home for that one. There's all kinds of different things you can check on betonline.ag. Use the promo code locked on. Again, a 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Put some money in. They'll give you some extra. They have all kinds of lines all the time. We're tweeting them out. BetOnline has lots of stuff. Go check it out. BetOnline.ag, promo code locked on. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into this next stretch for the Dallas Mavericks. We talked about the other day. Somebody really smart said this next stretch defines the Mavericks season.
Yeah.
This next stretch of games.
The whole season.
Really intelligent said that. They beat the Nuggets, which was a good win for the Mavericks. A really, really good win. Some people would say a signature win for the Mavericks so far. But now they have 2 games at Phoenix, and then they have 2 games at the Clippers. No back-to-backs. Both of them, all 4 of these games at the road. Let's say Luka misses all 4 of these games, right? They're pretty spaced out, so there's a chance we'll see him in that Clippers series. And we have actually no idea. We're just talking out of our butts right now with Luka's injury. But let's say he misses all 4 of those games. Are you just counting you're just like, all right, anything that the Mavericks give us is gravy. Like any wins are positive, right? Is that the way you're looking at it? Or are you saying Mavs got to win one of these games to prove that this lineup and that this group without Luka can actually do something?
I've thought about this a lot. We texted briefly about it earlier. Like, I just threw it out. Like, hey, what does success look like over these next 4? I'm not gonna lie. If they don't win, if they go 0-4 of these next 4, I'm not gonna be like overly pissed because like so much depends on Luka, and like we know that. I just want it to be competitive. I can't. I think what would be a loss across the board, a failure across the board, is if like these next 4 games are just not even close. Like we're talking, 12 to 22 points every time that this happens. If they're under 10-point losses each time, or there's a buzzer beater, or that it's like, and there's one game that's like 16 or something like that, I'm like, okay, kind of expect it. Sucks, but I kind of expect it. Just stay competitive. And of course, I think it is gravy. I think it is just amazing if they can pull off 1 or 2 of these games without Luka against a Phoenix Suns team that's really good, that was in the conference finals last year, and it's like the 2nd seed in the West right now.
Both these teams were the conference finals teams last year.
Exactly. Yeah, I forget about that. So, and this Clippers team is fun, scrappy. They're playing well together. If they can pull off at least 1 win, I'm super happy. If they pull off 2 wins, I'm smoking a cigar.
If that right there doesn't tell you just how important Luka is and how good Luka is, the tone from what we talked about on Monday, where we were like, all right, this is what this stretch means for this team and blah blah blah, to now we're like, if they can get 1 win, we'll be happy with it. Like that's just how much Luka means. But absolutely, I think how they play matters in these games too, right? If they get blown out in all 4 of these games, I'm not going to be surprised and I'm not going to be super disappointed, but it will be.
They shouldn't get blown out. I'll like they're good enough to not get blown out in all these games. I think so.
Does this team all of a sudden just become a defensive juggernaut? Like, how do you think they hang with some of these teams? Because they
Porzingis. Look at Porzingis' last 3 games. This is his moment. Like, I feel like we've said this a handful of times since he got to Dallas, and Luka has been out here and there with some little injuries or whatever it is. It's like I feel like every time we say it, all right, Now it's KP's time. And it's like, really, he's playing so well right now. He's in a groove. Like, let's get in the ball. Let's let KP cook. Like, let him get his shots and let him do his thing. Everything that they talked about in the offseason and training camp of, we want to get KP the ball in the post up or elbow or shooting threes and all this stuff. Now's his time. And it's like, let's do your thing. Like, KP, I mean, what's he average over these next 4 games? I'm going to say over under 26.5 points a game over these next 4. I'm taking over.
No, I'm taking the under because I think, yes, it would be great for KP to step up and to do all these things we've been waiting for him. But how did he find success over these last 3 games where he's been really good? It's been off of Luka Doncic. I think Tim McMahon even had the tweet that it was like, this injury for Luka really stinks because the connection between Luka and KP has been so good. Luka has had 7 assists over the last 2 games just to Kristaps Porzingis, right? Like 7 of his 14, half of them have been to KP, and KP's a really good finisher. Is Brunson going to be setting him up? Probably for some. Is Trey Burke going to come in and set him up? No. Right? Who else is going to set him up? Frank? Maybe a couple here and there. Dorian and him have some decent chemistry, but Dorian's not creating a ton for him. And so, yes, does Kristaps Porzingis need to step up for sure? But I'm really interested to see how he's going to do that because we have not seen him come over and take over a game. We've seen him come over and finish a lot and finish, plays from Luka and things like that. But he's not a player that comes in and is like, all right, we'll give him the ball and he'll just go create and make something happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think we'll see how many threes a game, does he shoot over these next 4? I mean, does he shoot 8 threes a game over the next 4 games? I mean, I could totally see that too, especially with a guy like DeAndre Ayton guarding him. You look at pick and roll numbers. Something we're going to see a lot is Jalen Brunson running the pick and roll. Like, this dude is going to, I mean, I was looking at pick and roll numbers today on Synergy. It's crazy how many times Trae Young has ran a pick and roll this season as a primary ball handler. It's like over 250 compared to Luka, who's did it like 160 something times, I think.
Jeez.
You look at just sorting it out.
He's bored up there too.
You look at the numbers and you do some sorting on pick and roll. If you just put a minimum of 50 possessions, just a minimum of 50 possessions, pick and roll possessions as primary ball handlers, who's number 1 on this list with a points per possession of 1.19?
So the best pick and roll player in the NBA right now.
With a minimum of 50 possessions. I'll tell you 2 through 5. 2 through 5 is Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell, CJ McCollum, Trae Young. That's 2 through 5. Who's number 1 on this list? Minimum of 50 possessions, running the pick and roll as a primary ball handler.
Are you running me up? Is it Brunson?
It's Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
It's Jalen Brunson. And that's with him coming off the bench a lot. Obviously, he's only had 62 possessions as a primary ball handler, but in the pick and roll. But like Kevin Durant's only had 53. And I mean, you look at Donovan Mitchell after that, he's at 153. But it shows you that he's been really efficient running pick and roll.
Yeah.
They're just going to wear this thing out, whether it's with Dwight Powell, whether it's pick and pop with KP, and rightfully so. Let's let him do his thing. And when you look at I was looking at lineup, data and stuff today too. When you look at just combos for the Mavericks, and you look at going down the list, you have to really go down the list until you find a positive net rating of these 2-man combos for the Mavs. Who's the first 4? The first 4 positive net ratings for 2-man combos for the Mavericks this season. All 4 of them have Jalen Brunson in them.
Yeah, Brunson and Frank, Brunson and Tim, Brunson and KP.
Well, it's Brunson and Luka, Brunson and Tim, Brunson and Reggie, and Brunson and Dorian. Like, that's the first 4. I didn't even go past that. First 4 positive net ratings of the 2-man combos for the Mavs. It just shows you, we've been talking about how Brunson's having this incredible season. It really, I mean, all the stats back it up too. This is the best he's been playing in his career. His stats on the court with other players, run the pick and roll. That's why it's him and KP right now. Can KP keep it going for these 3 games? And can JB show that, man, like, I belong here? This isn't just a first few weeks, first month of the season type spurt. I'm gonna show all of you national stage that I'm here to stay and I can be a star in this league.
Jalen Brunson, noted unrestricted free agent coming up this offseason. This could be a really big stretch for him to prove, like, hey, I'm not.
Mavericks are like, yes, go JB.
Oh, but wait, hold on. This could be a really big moment for him to prove that I deserve a huge contract or a big contract or whatever number that they're thinking right now. This could be the chance for him to like put another 0 on the end of it, right? Or add an extra year to this contract that they've been talking about. So Massive for him. And and I want to be clear, Brunson and Porzingis have some really good chemistry too. They are going to run that pick and roll a lot. The big question, especially for tonight, is what happens when Brunson and or Porzingis aren't on the floor, right? Let's say they have to bench both of them. Then what happens?
There should never be a moment in which JB, Tim, and KP are all off the floor, unless it's just like, unless it's just garbage time. One of those three people should be on the times, preferably two of those people at all times are on the floor, no matter what. That's something else I'm monitoring about.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's something to watch in the game tonight. We will be watching. We will have a post game right after. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs, making it your first listen every single day. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets, where your boy Q and Lee Sterling have the best picks for you every single day, 20 minutes or less. Go check it out, Locked On Bets. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom!